Ric Flair is talking about a part of his life most fans know nothing about, how decades of so-called social drinking ended with a health scare that he says nearly killed him. For much of his career, Ric Flair has always been larger than life. The Nature Boy walked into arenas with unmatched confidence, survived battles inside and outside the ring, and became a symbol of resilience for millions of fans. But even legends face moments that no amount of fame or bravado can protect them from. In recent years, silence replaced the showmanship and questions began to rise. What was happening behind the curtain? What was Ric Flair hiding from the world? When he finally broke his silence, the truth left fans shaken in a way they never expected. Ric Flair's legendary journey began in 1972 when a young Richard Morgan Fleer, after training under Vern Gagne, stepped into the wrestling ring for the very first time. Nobody knew then that this rookie would go on to shape wrestling history. With platinum blonde hair, extravagant robes that shimmered under the lights, and his booming "woo" echoing through arenas, Flair didn't just wrestle, he performed. He built a character so flamboyant and magnetic that people couldn't take their eyes off him. His charisma was unmatched, but it was his wrestling ability that truly set him apart. Flair was a master technician who understood how to control the pace of a match, make every move matter, and keep fans guessing. His signature figure four leg lock created suspense and became one of the most iconic submission holds in wrestling history. Over a career that spanned decades, Flair won 16 officially recognized world championships in major promotions like the NWA, WCW, and WWE, cementing his reputation as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. That greatness, however, came with scars. In 1975, Flair's career nearly ended when a plane crash in North Carolina left him with a broken back in 3 places. Doctors told him his wrestling days were over, but Flair refused to accept that. Within just 8 months, he returned to the ring, proving that limits could be broken. That comeback alone solidified his legacy as someone who simply did not quit. Even as time caught up with him, Flair remained in the ring long after many of his peers retired. His tearful farewell at WrestleMania 24 in 2008 against Shawn Michaels was remembered as one of wrestling's most emotional moments. Yet in 2022, at age 73, Flair laced up his boots one more time for a final match. It showed a man who could not walk away from the spotlight, or perhaps from the part of himself that only existed between the ropes. Outside the ring, the battles were harder. In 2013, Flair's youngest son, Reed, died of a heroin overdose, a wound that never healed and a grief Flair admitted stayed with him forever. His resilience in the ring could not protect him from heartbreak at home. That is why his later health struggles struck fans so deeply. If even Ric Flair could be knocked down in ways he could not rise from, what did that mean for the rest of us? In August 2017, Flair was rushed to emergency care with severe abdominal pain. Doctors discovered a bowel obstruction that triggered a catastrophic chain reaction: kidney failure, liver collapse, unstable heart rhythms, and sepsis. He was placed in a medically induced coma for over 10 days, with survival odds at just 20%. Emergency surgery and round-the-clock care saved him, but recovery was brutal. Flair dropped significant weight, needed therapy to walk again, and admitted the cause was no mystery. Decades of heavy drinking had destroyed his body. "I was given last rites," he later confessed. The man who once strutted in sequined robes had faced something he could not out-talk: death. When Flair emerged, he vowed never to drink again. He also began speaking openly about depression and post-traumatic stress, fears he once would have hidden. Wendy Barlow, his partner, revealed she slept by his hospital bed for 40 nights straight, showing fans that the Nature Boy's survival was not just about medicine but love and support. For decades, Flair had been portrayed as a man who needed no one. Now, he was alive because someone refused to leave his side. His outlook shifted. He reflected more on legacy, leaned into family, and embraced his daughter Charlotte, who by then was one of WWE's biggest stars. Fans began to see a side of Flair they never had before: humble, reflective, and even tearful. But the fight wasn't over. In 2018, fans began to notice troubling signs: trembling hands, slurred speech, canceled appearances, and a gaunt frame. Rumors swirled of ongoing health issues, possibly organ damage or complications with his pacemaker. By early 2021, the truth emerged. Flair had been diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma, a form of skin cancer, after doctors discovered a growth on his lower back. He underwent outpatient surgery, cryotherapy, and topical chemotherapy. Publicly, he downplayed it, calling it just a sunspot, but friends like Hulk Hogan urged him to take it more seriously. The scare eventually faded, but the silence that followed only fueled speculation. Between 2022 and 2024, Flair withdrew from public life. He canceled signings, missed reunions, and even stopped his podcast, Woo-Oh Nation Uncensored. Charlotte stayed silent on his condition, which only heightened speculation. By late 2024, fans feared the worst. Finally, in February 2025, Flair appeared on NBC's Today Show. Frail but determined, he revealed what many had suspected: the cancer had returned. This time, it wasn't a small growth. It had spread to his scalp and chest, reaching underlying tissue. He underwent Mohs surgery followed by weeks of radiation therapy. For the first time in his life, Flair admitted publicly, "I'm scared." Doctors couldn't confirm if the cancer had metastasized, but the risks were high. The wrestling world erupted in support. John Cena, Triple H, and countless others sent tributes, reminding everyone of the impact Flair had made. What struck fans most was not just the diagnosis but the vulnerability. Flair, the limousine-riding, jet-flying icon, stripped away the bravado and admitted his fear. He told fans, "I don't know if I'll make it through this one, but I'm still here and I'm still fighting." For a man who built a career on being larger than life, this honesty became perhaps his greatest legacy. By 2025, Ric Flair had become more than a 16-time world champion. He became a symbol of vulnerability, honesty, and survival. His openness about cancer encouraged fans to take health seriously, with Flair himself urging, "Early detection is critical." Charlotte carried that message forward, using her platform to stress wellness, routine checkups, and mental health. Looking back, Flair's story is no longer just about championships, robes, or promos. It is about a man who showed the world what it means to fight when the opponent is life itself. His greatest legacy may not be the titles he won, but the courage he showed in admitting fear, embracing vulnerability, and inspiring others to value health above all else. The Nature Boy once defined what it meant to be larger than life. Now he shows us what it means to live fully, even when life itself hangs in the balance. Fans around the world can only hope he comes out of this battle stronger, because Ric Flair's story has always been about one thing: never quitting.